all you need to know, the Bloomberg Quint podcast that prepares you for the day's business. Good morning. This is the daily morning update from Bloomberg Quint, and I'm Alex Matthew. Today is Wednesday, the 22nd of April. Here's everything that you need to know at the start of your day. There's big news in the world of mergers and acquisitions, and this time it's two names that you're very familiar with. Facebook has just announced that it has bought 9.99% stake in Reliance Jio for $5.7 billion or 43,574 crore rupees. The deal has been in the works for a while now, and the proceeds will likely go towards reducing RIL's debt. For all the analysis of the deal, do tune in to Bloomberg Quint. The chaos in the global oil markets continued yesterday. Just a day after US crude futures for May delivery plunged below zero for the first time ever, June futures crashed 43% to close below $12 a barrel in New York. The reasons are clear. The pandemic has caused demand for crude to fall through the floor, and a price war between Saudi Arabia and Russia, which involved pumping out more oil, only worsened the supply glut. The result is that tens of thousands of jobs have already been wiped out across the world, and billions of dollars in capital spending have been frozen. Oil ministers from the OPEC Plus coalition held an unscheduled conference call yesterday to discuss the collapse without settling on new policy measures. Brent crude, which is tracked closely by all of us here in Asia, was trading at $19.68 to the barrel last I checked, and WTI was hovering around $14 to the barrel. So these are clearly unprecedented times, and most of it is because of the pandemic that is still running rampant. Here in India, confirmed COVID-19 cases climbed closer to the 19,000 mark yesterday, with the death toll rising to 600. As many as 1,329 new cases were reported yesterday, according to data on the Health Ministry's website. The Maharashtra government has withdrawn relaxations to the national lockdown in the Mumbai and Pune metropolitan regions, but those relaxations will remain operative in other parts of the state, according to an amendment order issued by Ajoy Mehta, who is the chief secretary to the state government. Globally, there are some signs that the coronavirus outbreak is slowing in the current hotspots, with the US, Italy and the UK showing a smaller rise in new cases. China reported its sixth straight day without a fatality. Across the world, the total cases have now risen above 2.4 million, and at least 1.7 lakh people have died because of the disease, according to Johns Hopkins data. In more news on the virus, the UK will give £40.5 million to vaccine development projects, with human trials beginning on Thursday. Of that, £20 million will go to the University of Oxford to fund clinical trials, while £20.5 million will go to the development projects at the Imperial College of London. Let's talk about some of the corporate news from back home now. HDFC has cut its lending rate by 15 basis points, with the new rates ranging between 8.05 and 8.85%. The policy measures taken by the RBI are slowly trickling through the financial system. So if you've got a loan running, you should check with your bank about when your rate will get lowered. There's legal news to talk about. The Bombay High Court has quashed criminal complaints filed by the Serious Fraud Investigation Office against the erstwhile auditors of Infrastructure Leasing and Financial Services and its non-bank lending arm, that's Deloitte Haskins and Sells and BSR and Associates, for alleged collusion in falsifying books. For more details on that, do look up the story on the website bloombergquint.com. In more news in the legal space, the Delhi High Court has granted protection to Indiabulls Housing Finance from any coercive action if it fails to make payments to its debenture holders. The order, which will remain in effect till the 19th of May, which is also the next date of hearing, comes in light of the ongoing lockdown on account of the COVID-19 pandemic. In international markets, US markets followed the script. Equities lost further ground amid the chaos in the oil market and treasuries gained. The Dow lost about 2.7%, while the other two indices declined by over 3%. All three early rises in the Asia-Pacific region were negative at the start of trade. And with that, it's over to Agam Vakil for the trade setup for the day in India. Good morning, Agam. How are we looking here in India?
Good morning, Alex, and good morning, listeners. The SGX Nifty currently trades with a cut of 80-odd points, and we can expect further weakness for Indian equities, at least earlier on in the session. In earnings, we have cement major ACC's profit, which declined 5.5% to 320 crores, and revenues too declined 10% at 3,500 crores, but both these numbers were higher than consensus projections. We had a handful of cable companies also announcing earnings. Tejas Network reported a loss of 126 crores against a profit of 36 crores, with revenues declining 80%. On the other hand, GTPL Hathway's revenues rose 2 times to 655 crores, with losses narrowing to nearly 14 crores from 28 crores year on year. Similarly, DEN Networks also saw revenues grow 20%, posting a profit against a loss in the last year. Moving on, Vodafone Idea has paid about 1,367 crores to the government towards license fees, spectrum usage charges for the January-March quarter, according to PTI. HDFC has reduced its retail prime lending rate on housing loans, on which its adjustable rate home loans are benchmarked, by as much as 15 basis points with effect from April 22nd, that is today. Nestle India says all its manufacturing locations have received permission to operate and are now operating at scale-down levels. Most of its distribution centers, warehouses, suppliers are also operational but scaled down. And in a quarterly update, we have Federal Bank, which says it saw its CASA rise 2% sequentially. Total deposits grew 5% and gross advances rose 3% quarter on quarter. And finally, an update from the futures and options space. We have NSE, which will exclude futures and options contracts on Adani Power from June 26th. On the other hand, futures and options contracts will be available for SBI Life Insurance for trading with effect from May 4th. Now, these are just some of the stocks that we can watch out for as we move into trade today. But don't forget to go through our morning edition of All You Need to Know only on BloombergQueen.com.
Thanks, Agam. And as always, thank you all for listening in. This is Alex Matthews signing off. Have a great day and stay safe.
I hope you enjoyed listening to All You Need to Know. Did you know that you can listen to the show on the IVM Podcast app? On the IVM Podcast app, along with this, we have a number of other shows which you think you'll enjoy. Listen to Cyrus Says with Cyrus Brocha as the host. Listen to Paisa Vaisa with Anupam Gupta. The Scene and the Unseen with Amit Verma. Or Shunya One hosted by Shiladitya Mukhopadhyay and myself. Check out the IVM Podcast app to get more talk content that you will enjoy.